Okay, I believe we're on. So welcome. If you guys know me, my name is Enrique Reyes. I started a Facebook group called A Narcissist and a Neuropsychologist Walk in the Bar. And I'm happy to have one of our admins here. Alex is a good friend of mine. He knew
Yes.
me when I first started doing all this. And it's been, I think, for me, it's been 2.5 years. And then I think it was about 2 years since we've known each other. And
Yeah.
just from the time distance and where I live in California and where he lives, um, we're really happy that we get to talk, we get to message, and we can now fully contact and see each other. And I'm gonna have Alex speak for a little bit, and then we're gonna kind of do a simple format, which is just gonna be introductory. And then
Hmm.
this time forward, we're gonna have a more of a shortened, condensed version of the videos. We're gonna talk about, maybe key points to help depression or help NPD or help OCD or help anything like that. But Alex, why don't you take it away and just do your thing?
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Enrique, for involving me in your fantastic group, and it's wonderful to speak with you today. So, as you said, I'm a long distance away from you. I live in London, in the UK. I'm British born, so I'm a British subject of the Queen, but I have a Nigerian father and a German mother, so quite mixed. And I've lived in many different places over my life, but I always come back to South London, which is where I've spent most of my life. So myself, I haven't been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, which I'll refer to as NPD, or antisocial personality disorder, which I'll refer to as sociopathy. But I've been diagnosed with ADHD, depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, as I'll refer to it. And I believe that I had ODD, which I'm sure that you've heard of as well, oppositional defiance disorder, but I was never diagnosed with that. So yeah, so my own recovery has been up and down, up and down. When I met Rick, I was just getting out of a relationship where I had been emotionally abused, and I believe that that person either has MPD or I'd even go as far to say sociopathy. Um, and I thought I was over it, but it takes time to heal. And Enrique has been a great part of that, of my healing and of my consciousness. And importantly, he's reminded me to have compassion for people with this condition, which we'll go into further. Um, so I also had an episode of psychosis, which was a year and a half ago. And again, Enrique was a great support to me during that time. And I'm happy to say that I'm no longer on medication for psychosis, but I am on medication for depression. And I'm hoping to get back on medication for ADHD, which I'll talk about why I'm not on ADHD medication anymore.
Definitely. Well, thanks, Alex, for all your info and kind words. It almost seems like yesterday when
Mm,
we're at a certain place, and it seems like the end of the world. It seems like there's no support. It seems like your brain is
mhm,
a continual pattern. It seems like nothing's gonna go right. I mean, I was on the ground on my knees for 2 years crying
yeah, yeah,
because I had no empathy, and then I had a heart. So I've been there, but yeah, it's tough. I think that's
mm,
one of the main things is why it's important to do basics for yourself, as you said. Compassion for yourself. Lifting yourself up, making sure you have a good support group, your partner, family, friends, if that's
mhm,
for psychiatric help,
mhm,
long distance help, such as you and I. And
mhm,
we're there when the times are down, also when they're up. So we can get that tribe mentality to help that. And that's kind of why I started the group. And that's why it's great that we met you versus like I met you because I sold you a pair of shoes. And it's a capitalist game. Yeah, I love it.
mhm,
It's
yeah,
nice that we came about this. And to be honest, I would say still alive. And I'm dead
yeah,
serious. I have friends pass away, friends commit
mm,
suicide. You see it all the
mm,
time. And we're almost, some people are one step away from that life. And that's why I believe like you're here, part of the group. when I actually become admin, and you kind of see what I'm doing with my path, and different than yours. And it's
Mm-hmm.
great that how we can come and have the same goal, and we're on the same linear threads. We just want to get better. And
Yeah.
a lot of times it was me just trying to stay alive for the next step. And that's if that's all you want to do, if that's all that is good, then that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
I love that how we can kind of confer and have different paths and different education and different lives, and
Yeah.
still have the love for one another or someone else.
Yeah. 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 I mean, as you said, we have walked different paths in some way, but I think we have a lot of common ground as well with stuff that we've seen, how we think about it, how we feel about it, and that's what's helped us build this great friendship. Um, yeah, so touching on what you've just said, I'll go on the first point. When you said that when you started, you were on your knees and you were really down. This is the thing that I try to say to people. When somebody with MPD or sociopathy goes through therapy, it can only be traumatic because if you have no concept of empathy, you have a very little recognition of self-responsibility. So in therapy, there's no escape because I've had therapy 4 times myself, so I know. A mirror is held up to you, and suddenly you have to be accountable for stuff that maybe you put on your mind or you didn't realize was as significant as it is when you're having these conversations with your therapist. So I just wish that more people who claim to be empaths, especially, had more sympathy for people going through therapy for MPD and sociopathy, because it's heavy and it's a lot to confront at once. So no wonder you felt like you were on your knees and you felt hopeless and isolated, because it's a lonely place to be. And you and I have discussed this many times. There's such a taboo around MPD and sociopathy and treating it. And I don't understand, because surely the common goal should be for people to get better. But the popular online attitude is no, narcissists and sociopaths can't heal, they're beyond hope, they only abuse us, they don't need our support or their sympathy. I'm not going to feel sorry for them because they've done X, Y, Z. And what people don't realize as well is that holding on to that negative energy and that hatred can also feed into other mental illnesses yourself. So you could develop PTSD or depression or generalized anxiety disorder or MPD yourself, or sociopathy, if you don't remain conscious of having empathy for others and realizing that, everybody makes mistakes in life, everybody, fails at some points. And as long as there's life, there's hope, is my motto. So, we do need to change this culture of demonizing the narcissist and the sociopath, because it's, as I said to you, which you kindly quoted me on, I'm no longer scared of monsters because I once loved one. And now I'm happy to say that I'm in a much happier relationship where I'm well treated and everything. But obviously, I did love that person at one time. So the memories of that will always stay with me as long as I live. And what I learned from that person, I learned a lot from them, which I'm trying to turn around into a positive, as are you. You've had your own traumatic experiences, and it's just so inspiring, and it's helped me aid my recovery, to realize that we can make a change for good, and we can use this to build awareness and to support others that don't have support. And then going back to how we met, it's quite a nice story. So I was in another narcissistic abuse survivor forum on Facebook, and I was leaving because um, there comes a time when you move on. And I just felt that on that forum, with all due respect, people were wallowing in being the victims, and it wasn't healthy for me. I wasn't getting anything productive out of it. And like you, Enrique, I faced a lot of abuse for having compassion for people with NPD and sociopathy, and I didn't need that negativity in my life. So I was leaving, and then Rick introduced himself on the thread and said, "Oh, you're welcome to join my group. I faced a lot of hardship being a recovering narcissist myself, and I'm starting this group, to give awareness and to help others recover like me." And it was just such a wonderful concept that, of course, I joined. And then from there, we became friends, and Enrique involved me as an admin. Um, and yeah, it's just been a valuable experience in my life, because I remember talking to someone who's no longer in my life, but they were a good friend at that time. And they were saying, oh, it's because you're younger that you're searching for a cure for MPD and sociopathy, as if to say, if you're older, then you shouldn't have hope. And I disagree with that on a lot of levels.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, the brain and the neurons are always the brain is developing up until the 20s, but the neurons and firing of the connections and making new neurons will continue to grow,
Mm-hmm.
except when you get older and they start to regress. Specific term for that. But you're always creating new connections. That's the greatness about neuroplasticity. When you
Mm-hmm.
study neurons, when you study on that level, there is hope. You just have a neutral thing of hope, and then you put it down to math, and biology, and nerves and cells, electricity. There's physical ways that the body heals itself. And I think if you just it's a compilation of things to use in a synergistic manner is when the path starts moving along. It's almost like you look at an election, like let's say in America, we have
Mm-hmm.
all the states together, and not one state responsible for someone being elected,
Mm-hmm.
whatever position it is. But when they all work together, you
Mm-hmm.
go forward. Like I think I said this before, that's when you make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And with the same with the brain, with what you're talking about and everything, it does take time. This isn't a quick fix.
No.
We're talking
No.
about huge things in life. We're talking about literally the common belief there is no,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, cure for narcissism or ADD, except with medicine. I don't really consider that a cure so much to where it is different than doing it naturally. I'd say that there isn't a cure for depression. So we have to re-look at these things and see if there's another way, albeit just with medicine and then you're doing something else, or with therapy and something else, which I've done. I've done all forms of that, manic depression,
Mm-hmm.
PTSD medicine, to therapy, to being straight edge, and
Mm-hmm.
you just do what works. And like I said, a lot of times it's just staying afloat. And then when you believe in your brain, when you believe in just the basic things that work, it's that synergistic movement going forward. That is what we're looking at to solve a lot of these issues. And again, I'll be the first one to say that we use the word solve and cure. The best way I like to say it is lessen the traits.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring someone's on a 1 through 10 on the spectrum, 10 being like a narcissist, covert narcissist, or malignant. 5
Mm-hmm.
is in the middle. 1 is just traits; they can get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's depending on where you're at what level is where you look at everything, and that's where you kind of start to get
Yeah.
better. But
Yeah.
you made I love this because first time literally talking to you face to face. We talked
Yes.
text message on the phone, but like this is the whole new medium, which is great. And
Yeah.
hearing about that, just from this connection alone, what's happening in the hippocampus, what's happening to the chemicals, to know
Mm-hmm.
that I'll always be there for you, to know that
Yeah.
from you. I talk about you. I talk about you to my friends because no one was there.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
it's really good to have you there. And just again, just meeting, it's so powerful in other ways because we can get practical things that happen to us actually in our
Yeah.
world, and then
Mm-hmm.
your brain, my brain, other people's brains. How do we go to help people?
Yeah.
One less friend who passes away. I would call that a win.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get someone to maybe divert and look at their partner and maybe see that there is hope for someone with NPD or
Mm-hmm.
uh, APS disorder or antisocial, um, I call that a win. I call it a big
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
Like I said, today's meeting it's so beneficial on many different levels.
Yeah, for me too. And there's so much that I've learned from you, Enrique, and so much that, has enriched my life, from being a friend of yours and being involved in your fantastic group. And one thing that struck me at the time, I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you, but in one of your vlogs, you said that you see your NPD as a disability. And seeing it like that really changed my perspective, and it helped me lose some anger that I had, which it doesn't mean that I'm not angry about how I was treated, of course not, because I was mistreated, but it helped me realize that the person who was responsible for that also had something that was lacking, and that I'm lucky to be an empath because it means I make friends easier. I'm not so isolated anymore. I mean, I was socially isolated growing up, but that was for other reasons. You know, I had social anxiety, I had the stutter, things like that. Um, but here's what I would say about, you know, like you said, it's a wonderful thing if people can heal and support their partners to heal from MPD and sociopathy. But I will say, as someone who survived a relationship myself, you cannot stay if the person does not want to change. And if they just want you to be a target, and also think of how it may affect your children or other people who are impressionable around you. So it is a tough one, because I hear what you're saying. You were alone, and that wasn't fair for you, to not have support from people. But it's a tough one because you can see why people do become isolated from their behavior when you read about the symptoms of NPD and sociopathy, and how it affects other people. But you know, I'm just so thankful for so many things. I'm thankful that we're both alive in 2020, because there's so many resources for us that would not have been available had we been born 30, 40 years earlier.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have been diagnosed. We wouldn't be recognized. We wouldn't have this platform to connect with others around the world and, you know, build each other up, you know. So it's a tough area, of course, but I think that you're the perfect representative, and I'm very proud of you as your brother in Britain and your lifelong friend, to just, you know, be with you all the way, my friend, and to just support this great cause and raise awareness and help as many people recover as possible. And
Yeah.
we all have to play our part, I must say, all of us. It takes a village to raise a child, a wise person once said to me. So.
Yeah, obviously, Alex, everything you said was so awesome. And say it again, that, you know, it's support and all the little things that we do that help us down the path. You know, sometimes we see a mountain and we think we're going to be done. That's a perception. As soon as the mountain is there and over with, we're done. There's another mountain. It's how we perceive the next mountain is very important. You can't look at it as negative. You can't look at it as a chore. You can't be exhausted in our search. It's climbing the mountain. It's going forward because you look at the one goal. It's building relationships. It's helping people. It's doing what I think is ethically and morally right as human beings, what we should be, and maybe not the other path. And I think that's inherent in you. I think people who are in the industry, I think it's inherent in them. And we are here. Just a quick shout out, and then I think we're going to end up pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'm going to thank you for your time and everything. And
My
everyone,
pleasure.
we're going to put this on the Facebook group, and then we're going
Mm-hmm.
to put it on YouTube. I think we're going to open up a couple more mediums to look at across the board. So I have a lot of social media outlets out there. But I'm just going to say this last thing is that, you know, the reason why again we're doing this is because we're going to attack and look at everything that we said here, and there's a reason why. If you need help, if you need numbers, if you need, you can call, you can message, you can text. If there's if you are if you know, we have male, female, you know, you can talk to us if you're more comfortable. It's behind the scenes, private, totally private. If you need answers to anything we talk about, I can give you information and talk to you about it. But we are here to help. That's the main reason why. Let's not forget that focus. I'm here to help Alex, Tasha, Alicia, and other people too are going to be on the video with me like this. We're the main focus is helping. Any question on any level on anything, no, there's no time that is wrong. There's no question that is, I would say, stupid. There's none. It's
Yeah.
don't ask for help. When you don't ask that question, is when I think we have issues, and then I'll ask you to open up and then take that first step.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to, I think it's a good point to end here. I think it's, again,
Yeah.
I love doing this. I can't wait to do more of them. And we're going to
Yes, me too.
different members. Definitely, I'm going to call on Alex again to talk
Mhm.
about things. And again, real quick, we're going to do, this is running about, I think, about 20 minutes, 30
Mhm.
minutes. We're going to cut it down to 15. Then we're going to cut it down to 10 or 5. Quick questions. So it's going to be like a 411 on specific issues about some mental or health disabilities, antisocial personality disorder issues, and we're just going to give a real quick. You got 5 minutes. You need to know the full information on it real quick. I think that's a good way to go.
Yeah.
What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I completely agree with everything that
Time,
you've just said. Of
yeah,
course.
because my
And
brain's like this. Yeah.
and yes, you know, there are resources out there, and you just need to recognize that there is a problem, and it doesn't make you a lesser person by admitting there's a problem. I know that's very difficult for a narcissist to admit, and I understand why. But you know, life is about change and growth, and we all have to heal. We all have to repair things about ourselves. So just, you know, be brave and know that if you don't feel you have any support, the four of us and our other members are here for you.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's a wrap. Thank you, Alex, from across the way in the UK. I'm in Santa Barbara, California, so we have cross country help. I don't think Alex is over here for me to videotape. I keep doing this, but he's over here, and I love it. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
And if I can find it.